Hi Giles,
Steve,
welcome to my little corner here.
thanks very much.
So we got you here today because my thoughts were I really wanted to get, there's a lot of VCs out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I really wanted to get a feel on Scalare and why it happened, because I always wonder how VCs form, because there's so many now as well. I mean, but to what you do differently, because I do, from my understanding in our coffees and chats that we've had, you are a little bit different to the others, which is why you're here. So give us a quick rundown, I guess, on where the idea came from, and was it always different at the beginning, or did that evolve?
It's a very good question, Steve. Well, firstly, everyone likes to think they're different. Well, we are different because we come from an operational background. We're not from the banking or finance sector. So 3 founders, myself, Giles Bourne, and then there's Nick Roberts and James Walker, and we all come from running tech businesses. That's what we've done for many decades. We're grey-haired, in our 50s, and been around the traps enough to actually know what's good and what's bad, and we've had wins and we've had losses, but spent years and years running tech businesses, and we saw an opportunity to actually go and help support early stage emerging technology companies in Australia. And from my personal point of view, it emerged from about 10 years ago. I was running a semiconductor company, and really interesting business, but we were struggling like so many companies and trying to navigate our way through a complex funding environment out there. It was difficult with customers, and we entered a thing called the Australian Technologies Competition. This was back in 2013.
Yeah.
And it was a showcase of emerging technologies in Australia, and it was a real sort of aha moment for me, because I realised we went through this competition. There was no sort of prize at the end of it. It was literally just you won an award.
Gold star.
That's it, gold star. But along the way, you got loads of mentoring and loads of support, and then actually got access to IP experts, to funding experts,
So
to
how long
marketing.
It
Went over about 6 months.
So it was like an accelerator.
Almost like an accelerator, and my company was really fortunate we won it. And at that moment in time, I realised that was so useful for our company. And then, fortunately enough, I was invited to become a judge at that TechCon, and I did that for 10 years. Yep. And all the companies I saw coming through the TechCon were all looking for the same thing: money and support. That's all. And they all unequivocally said, in Australia, there's a real lack of sort of early stage support of early stage emerging venture in this country. So for us, for me anyway, it was a bit of a light bulb moment, going, we've got experience around tech, an opportunity for us to put a funding mechanism around early stage tech. So first check after friends and family round, where we not only invest, but we use our experience and sort of wrap our arms around the founder and sort of take them on that growth journey, and help them sort of go through, manage the way through the pitfalls of what is funding and building a customer base and going global. So we built a team of people to help us do that. So it's been a really interesting journey. Been doing it now for 3.5 years. We're not your typical fund in the sense that in fact, we're not a fund at all. We invest off our balance sheet, so it's own money, and we've got some other investors involved in the company.
Yeah.
So we work very differently to your traditional VC, but for us it's worked really well. We've got 26 companies in the portfolio now.
Look, I think you're right. I still don't think there's a lot of support. There was you and there's maybe a couple of others, but there's still not a lot, right? So it's still an area that is very underserviced, I guess. And you're right. I think it's what we see a lot of. When they're really, and the other big problem is when they do get money, they don't know what to do with it. They often spend it on the wrong things. So actually giving someone money and not teaching them what to do with it, it's a bit like giving a child way too much pocket money and hoping they're not going to buy a lot of sweets, right? It's that kind of same mentality. I do like the fact that you're a founder. There's a couple of other VCs that are founders as well. I like, if you are a VC, can we call you a VC?
You can call us whatever you want.
Let's just call you Scalare. But I think, there's a lot of VCs out there that are spreadsheet junkies, right? They know how to read a spreadsheet, they know how to read the numbers, they know how it should work, but they've got no real life experience. And I've always found that quite annoying, how they recommend or even enforce to some degree, in terms of holding the carrot, founders to do certain things that I don't think are very responsible. So I love the fact that you're all ex-founders. I haven't met your other 2 partners. We should do that at some stage.
And I don't want to diss the VC community in Australia, because they play a vital role in that sort of growth. But they sort of generally tend to be slightly later, sort of Series A 100%. And beyond. And there's this real gap in the early stage seed and pre-seed, where founders are really looking for not particularly big checks, but they want some funding and they want the support, and they want to be able to sort of set themselves up for global growth, for future funding rounds. And sort of our experience, gives them that sort of stability, and it helps them avoid some sort of nasty sort of pitfalls along the way.
Well, look, you listen to any kind of, I guess, sort of coach, they will tell you to model the people that you want to be like, right? What you're doing is you're helping them model other founders, i.e. yourselves, on your experience, because it's scary enough going starting your own business, particularly in those early years. But then to not know what to do is even more terrifying. So I guess it's fair to say you didn't evolve into different, you were always different, because you literally came to market with a very different sort of model in your head.
That's right. We started off, what we are today is what we started off with. That's what we always said we're going to do. Offer balance sheet investment, hands-on active investment, and we also take a board role in all the companies as well. We want to get involved really deeply ingrained in the businesses. So, what we set out to do and what we do today is exactly the same.
I want to ask you one more thing, because I think a lot of people will watch this and go, what the hell is balance sheet investing? Not a lot of people will necessarily understand what that is and how that's different to other funds that might be lending. Just in a very simplistic terms, what is the difference between what you do from investing from a balance sheet and what others might do in terms of investing from a fund?
Well, from our point of view, it gives us more flexibility, frankly. We're not a 5-year fund or a 7-year fund. We can be in as long as we need to be in a company for. So it gives us a lot more flexibility with how we manage that investment with the companies. We're not charging like your typical 2 and 20 model. It's not like that.
Yeah.
We're just purely investing off the balance sheet. We do have a sort of upper limit on check size that we write. We want to make sure we do enough sort of investments, and again, not spreading ourselves too thinly. All the investments that we do, we want to be really operationally involved. So, to a point which is very important, we're not just doing a spray and pray. We've got a nicely managed portfolio which we can manage with the team that we've got, and we've got a team of now 10 people and growing, and we've got a whole support ecosystem around that as well. But it's a managed, works really well. Balance sheet gives us a lot more flexibility for what we want to do.
It's almost private equity.
Yeah.
Isn't it? At a very early stage. And that you're far more involved.
That's right.
You're not hoping for a 2 out of 10 win rate, you're hoping for a 10 out of 10 win rate if you can.
Yeah.
And you're going to get deeply involved to ensure that happens.
And look, to be honest with you, Steve, when you've got companies that do have problems, we'll pile in and try and fix those problems. We don't just sort of stand back and let them fall. We will make sure we try and solve those problems and get back on track again. So, a lot of our energy is working on the sort of the bottom part of the portfolio where they're struggling, and we invest in them for a good reason, and we're trying to get them back on track. But we've got some great companies in our portfolio, not just in Australia. We've got a handful overseas, a couple in the UK, US, Singapore, Holland, but mostly here. We're based here. We've got a network all over the world of people that we work with.
Last question.
Yeah.
Exits.
Yeah.
As you said, you don't have to return in 5 years or 7 years or whatever it be. You can be in as long as you want. Your early stage investing, as they grow, are you going to invest larger checks, or are you just going to help them with their later investments and stay till an exit? How do you decide when's the right time for you to depart?
So that's a very good question, because originally when we set up, we were just set up to do that first check. But we're really realising now that we really should be supporting the business.
Because you're falling in love with the founders, aren't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's some great founders out there. And we really want to do some follow-on financing as well. So, for us, we are raising additional capital. So we're going out there seeking capital right now. So we can write bigger checks and we can keep supporting the companies within the portfolio. In terms of exits, obviously we're with them as long as it takes. And we'll help them on a trade sale. We'll help them on IPO. Between us, we've done 8 IPOs. So that's another interesting option. I know it's more some of the other partners than me, but we've run public companies. We understand that world, we understand trade sale world. So we'll sort of help them navigate towards an exit. But it's in no specific time frame. We'll work with the founders to get there.
Fantastic. Look, I think I like it.
So do I. I love it. I love it. It's been fabulous fun, I tell you, and I'm really enjoying working with the founders. There's so much great founders out there, so much energy and enthusiasm, and being part of that in the early stage is great.
So I'm like you, I love the founders' energy, the positivity. I also have to say, I like your events. I've been to a few now, and you do run a good event.
Fantastic. Well, you have to come to some more, Steve.
Oh, well, I'm just sitting here waiting with the invite. Look, thank you so much for coming on, and good luck with it.
Cheers, thanks, Steve.
Hey, Jenny.
Hi, Steve.
Great to meet you today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Scalare is employee number 1. Isn't it always exciting being employee number 1?
Super excited because you get to witness the entire journey. Right?
And you get to say that forever. I'm number 1. I'm number 1 for every. It doesn't matter how big it goes or how. And even if you leave it one day, you can still people put it on their LinkedIn. Employee number 1. So no, it's a good title. Look, thanks for meeting me. Obviously, we've had Giles on before talking about Scalare and what you work. And I think one of the most interesting things that I sort of loved about it was that you get involved in the companies, that kind of private equity, more involved model that they do as opposed to just hands-off money. So today, you're here to talk to me about all the different services and how that works and how you really get involved and help them succeed. So you start wherever you want to, because I don't even know what to start with as the first question. Tell me what services there are. Why don't we start with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Our service range really goes from A to Z. So
Yep.
anything that the business needs to scale the model to continue to expand, doesn't matter which stage of the business cycle they are. We have a network of people who come with the skill and the experience can come in and help bridge that gap. So think about if you're really, really early, if you want to make sure that the product is proven, is sound, we have technology experts who can come in and take a look at the product build,
The code and stuff,
the
like really
code,
into
yeah,
it? Okay,
review,
cool.
API,
Yeah.
think about your next version of the product, the directions of the product strategy. And then we also have experts who can come in and really look at your go-to-market strategy, right?
Yep.
Because you can have a really good product, but I don't know what to do with it. How do I introduce to the market?
A lot of people have that.
How do I get feedback? What do I do with the feedback with very limited budget as well when
Yep.
we're all early and young?
Yep.
Cash is king. How do we maximize the value of those investment? Which activities area I should deploy when it comes to go to market? So we have people who come in and really looked after that area together with the founder and the team. When you become a little bit more mature, you probably want to look at different scenario, how you want to grow your business. We'll have people come in and do the modeling
Yep.
together with you.
Financial modeling, you mean?
Financial
Yep.
modeling, different go to capital raising strategy.
Yep.
What it means to your cap table, dilution. Talk about the pro and con, and
So it's like a whole ecosystem.
it's a whole
basically.
ecosystem.
So
Really.
you've got people from marketing, from HR, from literally whatever they need, and that comes as part of your standard sort of partnership with them, right? So when
Absolutely.
because I think Giles mentioned before that you often have, or no, I think you always have someone on the board, right? So
Yeah.
you know where they are, you know what's going on. So you're like, okay, well, you're coming into this phase now. Maybe we should get little Johnny along, or whoever it might be, to come and look at your financial modeling or your go-to-market strategy. And so how long have you've been doing this since day one, right?
Yeah, since day one, and being employee number one, I truly
Told you
feel.
you could keep saying it.
I use that a lot. I truly feel growing a business really does take more than money, right? Because Scalare is
Oh my
the
God, yes.
same. We've been, just under 4 years. How we grow, we're also a startup as well. So, being an investor who are going through a similar journey with the company that we invest, we can truly feel the opportunity as well as a pain. It's really a journey of joy and tears, right?
It is.
So I think understanding that, as well as having the skill and the resource to bridge that gap means a lot to the company that we invest in.
Look, 100% it does. We're just over 4 years old, and we found that because we're going on the journey as well at the same time they're going on the journey, it does create that sort of camaraderie. It really creates a togetherness and a partnership
Yeah.
that you don't get if you're this big organisation trying to help these tiny small ones. And I think just the ability to understand, as you said, the tears and the pain that are always coming. But also the joys and the champagne that follow at some
Absolutely.
stage. And then it goes up and down like that all the way. I think being on that bumpy journey with anyone and experiencing it and being able to properly relate to it
Yeah.
is probably one of the most important things. So in terms of that services offering, have you ever had anyone ask you for something that you don't do? And if you did, what would you do?
We can't do everything,
Exactly.
obviously. Yeah, so, just having that very open and transparent conversation from
Yep.
the get-go, right? So that everybody understand the limitation. The last thing you want is wasting the founder's time, really, because everybody knows that they work 80 to 100 hours a week already. And so just very simple examples. We're not a tax agent, so
Yep.
we can't lodge their income
No.
tax return, right? So we just let them know that to what extent we can help. For
Yep.
example, clean up the book, making sure it's compliant with the accounting standard, put together the report and hand it over to the tax agent so they can
Oh,
do
so you
their
can
bit.
do all of that up to that level.
Yeah.
So it's only a very few specific things that they can't do.
Yeah, and I suppose we also review our capability over a period of time as well. When we first started, we're adopting a community approach. So this is not just the 7 or 8 of us, trying to fill all of this gap. We have 600-700 people around the globe that they're a member of our communities.
That's massive.
Yeah, they can come in and they can all play a part to bridge the gap. And we often looked at our community and understand what are the mix of the skills, what are everybody's availability. So that itself is also changing from time to
Of course,
time.
yeah.
Yeah.
600-700.
Some of them are investors, so they like to, just invest directly. Some of them are operators, just like Giles, James, and Nick are founding partners, and they like to get involved and get their hands dirty. So I suppose the mix and the combination of opportunities is unlimited.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for explaining that. I think that
Pleasure.
a lot of early stage founders will be quite excited by that, and you might get a few phone calls. And when you do, remember, answer the phone, employee number 1, Jenny from Scalare.
Yeah, I'd love to, because we truly understand what it's like being a founder, especially at the early stage of growing a business. And so I think the message I want to leave out to the community here is you don't have to fight alone. It is a choice. Everybody talk about smart money, but what smart money means, everybody have different definitions, right? But if you're looking for capital as well as help, come and talk to us. You never know where the conversation will end.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.